Hello friends, this is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. Hope you're all doing well. We are going to make this beautiful, beautiful hat. Maybe called a French beret. I gave it my honest efforts to try to make a French beret, but it's, I know it's not perfect, perfectly shaped like that, but it's as close as I could get it, and I hope that it passes for a French beret to some of you. All my French friends are probably saying, no, Shelley, it's not a French beret, but that's what I'm going to call it. And I am using Colorama O'Go, and I'll show you that in just a minute. It is a 5 bulky weight yarn, and sadly, it's been discontinued, but if you can still grab some or have some, this might be a fun project to use it for. If not, do a double strand of worsted weight yarn or find your favorite 5 bulky yarn. Really, you can use any yarn for this. I use 5 colors per beanie, so you can work that out how you want to or make it a solid color. I used my 36 peg loom as well, and yeah, it's just a very fun project to do, and I enjoyed making one so much that I decided to make another. So you get to see both colors. All right, friends, so you go ahead and grab the yarn of your choice, and let's get started. All right, so we're going to begin this tutorial, and I am using my 36 peg loom. Now, I have several looms and different brands, and I've had this one for a while, and I really don't know what brand it is, so I know I'll get some comments asking what brand it is. You just find a nice 36 peg loom and use it. I also have one from, I think it's from Loops and Threads, it's from Michael's, and I have another one that I don't know where it's from, but go into Amazon, find yourself some looms, and you'll have success finding it in Walmart, anywhere, any craft store near you. Okay, but we're going to use Yarn Inspirations, Karen, Colorama O'Go. Now, I know that this is discontinued, so unless you can get it online somewhere, or if you've got some stash in your yarn drawer, go ahead and use that. But this is a 5 bulky, so it's 100% acrylic, 5 bulky. This particular skein is 180 grams or 228 yards. You don't use nearly all of it. You'll have lots left. So you go ahead and just choose the colors of choice that you would like to use. You can use double strand worsted weight yarn and make it the same way. Okay, but I like these because the colors all match so great together, and I don't have to figure out what goes together. So I'm very sad that these are discontinued because it's actually, I love them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this apart. This one is called Lippy. It's called Lippy. So I don't know. We're going to take this apart. There we go. And then from there, we're going to just pull this apart here, cut this off, and grab this little insert that is in there, and it just slips out just easily like that, okay? And then I'm showing you this in case you can get them, okay? And then we're going to just pull them apart. I'll start on this side. You're going to just grab the color, pull it apart, and cut it off where the color changes. You're going to do that for each section, okay? So go ahead and do that if this is the yarn that you're using. If it's not the yarn that you're using, grab as many colors as you want to use. I don't use all these colors. I've used, in the one hat that I made, let me just look over at my table and count the colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I did use them all. Actually, the other one had 6 colors in it, I think. But go ahead and choose as many colors as you want. You can make this a solid color beanie if you want, and it'll be beautiful. Okay, so take it apart, grab your yarn, get your 36 peg loom and your loom pick, and I'll see you back. Okay, the next thing that you have to do is to determine which color is going to be your brim. I've chosen this as my brim, so I'm laying this in the order. This is my brim. This is going to be my next color. This is going to be the color I use for the single rows, okay? And then I'm going to use them in this order. So brim and the first color, and this will be for the single rows. So you want to keep, make that number 3. So we're going to start with number 1. We're going to use all the colors, okay? We're going to start with number 1. So again, you can use the colors of your choice. You don't have to do the same yarn that I'm using. And we're going to place a slip knot in our yarn and put it to our anchor peg just like that, okay? from there, we are going to cast on. So we're going to go behind and in front as an E-wrap, behind and in front, behind and in front, all the way around. Okay, let me get my yarn out of the way. So we're going to E-wrap just like this all the way around our loom. Okay, I like the feel of this loom. It's not so hard on the hands. It's a nice, soft, smooth plastic. Okay, and we're going to just continue around in like manner, almost to the end. Okay, so I'm going behind and in front and behind. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just hold that yarn tail with my 2 fingers like that, and I'm going to push these down. Okay, so when you're wrapping, don't wrap them too tight so that they're easily able to be pushed down midway to on your peg. Okay, so for the next round, we're still considering this our cast on row. We're going to E-wrap them one more time. Okay, but again, just let it slip through your fingers. Don't be too tight. I'm wondering if you can see well, because this yarn color is the same color as my mat that's underneath my loom. But I'm going to trust that you can see it when I edit it. If you can't, I will redo it. Okay, let's just keep going. E-wrapping every peg the second time. Pull it out of my ball here. There we go. Almost to the end. Okay, then I'm going to, this is my trick that I always do. Then I take it in front of the first and the second peg. Sorry, I have to think about what I'm doing. I sometimes I knit on my Addy knitting machines and my Center knitting machines too. If you check out my channel, I have circular knitting machines and we call them needles. And so I always have to train my brain to say pegs when I'm on my looms. Okay, so then we're going to go to our last one. The last one that you E-wrapped is the one that you're going to take off first, the one to the left of your anchor peg then there, and then you can let go of this because you've secured it and it's not going to unravel on you. Okay, then you're going to go around your loom. You're going to take the bottom loop, pull it over the top loop and over the top of the peg. Okay, just like this. Now some people like to grab their loop from the top here and go over like this. Either way works. You do whatever works best for you. I just have a habit. I go underneath, then I put my finger on top of the peg and I just pop it over and go all the way around. Okay, so go ahead and finish working off every peg until you get to the end, and I'll see you back. Okay, now my cast on is done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push these down just like we did with our first row of cast on. Okay, now some people like to push these down as they go along. I like to prepare them and push them down before I begin my next row. And these are a bit tight for some reason. I was trying to be loose, but as we continue on, I'm gonna make sure I'm not quite so tight. And you know what, when we take this off, our project off the loom, we are going to fix the brim at the base here too, and we're going to snug it up anyway, so it's going to fit your head better and look nicer. But now we can even take this off our anchor peg. Even though we've only done the cast on, it's not going to go anywhere. You can gladly take that off, or you can leave it for a few rows if you prefer. Okay, so I'm going to take it off, but what we're going to do now is our knit purl rows. I have my tally counter here, so I will mark it whenever I finish a row. That's when I mark it. So I work my row, and when I get row 1 done, then I hit row 1. So I know that that's how many I've completed. Whatever's on my tally is what I've completed, not what I'm working on. You do it however works best for you. But we're going to do our ribbing now. We're going to E-wrap that first peg. So behind and in front and behind, take that bottom loop over the top, and that's our first stitch. The next one is going to be a purl. So this one you need to lift up a little bit. You're going to put your yarn tail underneath, just like that. Scoop from the top, put your loom hook into that stitch, then down. If you go right down to the bottom there, it helps you just get a good grip on the on the yarn tail as you come up. So they're going to pull that through. You're going to take that whole thing off the peg, put the new loop on, and there you go. Now, I just did that in 2 different steps. I like to prepare my knit stitch and my purl stitch at the same time. So we're going to knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl all the way around. So let me show you what I do. I E-wrap, and then I go under. Okay? Then I hold that with my thumb. So this one's prepared for an E-wrap, this one's prepared for a purl. So I'm going to take this loop, I'm going to put it over that peg, I'm going to go into that loop from the top down, scoop that up, take it off, put that loop onto the peg, and pull. Okay, let's do that again. E-wrap and set up your purl. Take that bottom loop, over the top loop, over the peg. Then you're going to go into that purl, scoop it up from the top. You're going to go to put your loom hook in through that stitch from the top down. Then you're going to scoop up that yarn, pull it through into a loop, take the whole thing off your peg, put that new loop back on your peg, and that's your purl. Okay, knit, purl. I find I can get around this. I'm holding it kind of funny here so you can see it in the camera, but when I'm holding it close to my body and I'm working these rows, I find I can just, when I do it in a two stitch motion like that, I find that I can get around pretty easily, and it just becomes normal thing to do. It's not like you're doing your knit, then you're stopping, you're doing your purl, you're stopping. You just get 2 done in a row, and purls become fun to do. Because I know when you have to do a knit and then you got to stop, grab your yarn, do your purl, it takes time. But if you do it in a system like this, it's surprising how much faster it actually goes. Okay, so you're going to knit and purl, alternating from one peg to the next. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, all the way around. You're going to do that for 10 rows. Now, if you want a brim that's not quite as wide as what you see in the picture here that you saw at the beginning of the video, you can do less rows. I like the looks of a wide brim, and I like the feel of it on my head. So even for my circular knitting machine beanies, I always do a wide brim. I just love how it looks. So you go ahead and you make this as wide as you like. I'm going to go ahead and make it 10 rows. And when I get back of doing 10 rows of knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, I will see you back. Okay, friends, I'm going to see if I can get this camera at a bit of a different angle for this next part. So let's just pray that it works. Okay, so we've got our ribbing done. I've got my 10 rows. It's looking beautiful. I then cut my tail. It's only about 6 or 8 inches, and I'm going to just throw that in the center there. And we're going to begin our 3-step patterning, which is so fun to do. You're going to take your first color that you want to use, okay, for the patterning, and we're going to put a slip knot. Okay, now what I do is I just put it over. I mean, some people don't do it this way, but I just put it over there momentarily. We're going to take it off, okay? And I'm going to just tie these two. It's because I want to get this knot nice and tight. And if I don't have it secured to something, then it's hard to make your knot, okay? So I've got my knot nice and tight. I'm going to put those both back into the center. I'm just going to cut them a little bit shorter. Then I'm going to take this off like that. And now it's like this was the old tail. Okay, and that's basically what I want. And so now we're ready to begin our second row. So essentially, this is the yarn that's coming off this last needle. We are going to go ahead and we're going to do a U-wrap. So just around that front peg like that. This is peg 1. You're going to do a U-wrap. You're going to knit it off. Then we're going to take that same yarn tail. This is peg 1. We're going to go back around that and a U-wrap, back around that as a U-wrap, and then add peg 2, okay? Knit it off. Okay, so this is our first peg. Every peg, we do a 3-step process starting on that peg. So we did 1 U-wrap, then we did 2 U-wraps. Now we're gonna do 1, 2, 3. So we're going to take it from where it is, go behind it and in front, and wrap 3 pegs, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna do several with you, so we'll get a good visual of how this works, okay? And 3. Now you will see that your tail is coming out of this peg right here. We just finished working peg 1. It's coming out of peg 3, so we back up to peg 2. Every time you're finished a 3-step process, you're going to be 1 peg ahead. So we're going to back up, and this is going to become peg 1. So we're going to do 1 wrap, 1 U-wrap, knit it off. Okay, this is the one we're starting on. So now we're going to do 2 pegs starting on that same peg. U-wrap that one, and U-wrap the second one. It's a 3-step process, always starting on the same peg. We're going to go back, and we're going to knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now essentially we've done 3 steps with this peg, 3 steps with this peg. This one's next. How do we know that? Because our tail is coming out of the one to the right of it, and we always have to go back 1. Okay, so now we're going to do U-wrap that. This is now the first peg. We're going to U-wrap the first peg. Push that down a little bit. Always start with the first peg. U-wrap the first and the second. Knit those off. Push that down. You're going to knit the first, the second, and now the third. We're going to do that all the way around. Okay? Just like that. So it's coming out of this peg, so I know I got to start on this one. So U-wrap 1, U-wrap 2, always starting on the same peg, and U-wrap 3, starting on the same peg. Knit off. Okay, it's coming out of this peg, so I know I got to start on that one. U-wrap 1, starting on the same one, U-wrap 2, starting on the same one, U-wrap 3, and knit off. You're going to do that all the way around, and when you get to the end, I'm going to see you back, okay? When you get close to the end here, I'll see you back. All right, my sweet friends, I'm coming around to the end, and I wanted to show you something, okay? So when we continue our patterning, okay, so it's coming off of this peg, so we're going to start with this one. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. Oops. So hard to do when it's away from your body. This is the 3rd step from this needle, okay? But this last one is on this last peg. So you might be thinking, oh, well, you're done that row. You're not done that row until you've worked 3 steps from this needle and 3 steps from this one, okay? So now we're going to finish this one. So this is 1, step 1, step 2, and step 3. And you can see it's going into this next row, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3. We still have 1 more peg to work. This one. This is the last peg. So we're going to do step 1, step 2, and step 3. Okay, so now we can say we have finished the round. And it's coming out of peg 2. And now we're going to do 2 rounds of this color. So we're going to do 1 more round. And this sets us up for perfectly, because now we're going to start with peg 1. And we're going to do step 1, step 2, and step 3. Okay, so you're going to continue on this pattern for 1 more row, and then you're going to come back and see me, and I'm going to show you another way to do the color change, okay? We did it one way for the beginning of the project, and I'm going to show you a different way for this color change for the 3rd row, which you could also have used at the beginning here when you went from your rib stitch to your first needle, but I didn't want to confuse you with the way we wrapped peg 1, and you'll understand what I mean when we get to it. So finish going around this round, and then come back and see me, and we will change colors and do the next round. All right, so how do I know that I've made it around all the way around? Because when I started this one, my last peg, this was 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and my yarn tail is coming out of that third one, which means if I go back one to start the next row, I'm on peg 1. So then I know I've completely finished the round. Okay, so now we are going to take our next color. I'm going to cut this off. And the color that I'm going to use for single rows is this one. So choose whatever color you're going to use for your single rows, because we're only going to do one row of this color, okay? And it's going to go in between our double rows. Let me just show you on my other beanie. Okay? So this was my brim color, of course. Then I did 2 rows, and then I did 1 row, then 2 rows, and 1 row, 2 rows, and 1 row. Okay? So we're doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows. And that gives me the length that I wanted, okay? This whole beanie, I'll measure it. I'll tell you the measurements later because I don't have my tape measure down here, but that's how we're going to do it. So right now we've completed the brim. We've completed our first 2 rows of patterning. We're going to do our single row, okay? So this is how I change colors. I'm going to take this third color. I'll show you how we did it at first. So I'm going to make a slip knot. I'm going to put it on peg 1. This is the first way that I showed you, okay? And then you're going to take these 2 tails, you're going to tie a knot, a tight knot. Then you're going to take this off, and then you're going to do your patterning the way you were before, but that's just coming off of peg. It's coming off of peg 2 now, so you're going to just wrap 1, and then you're going to wrap 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. Or what you can do is you can take your slip knot, and you can put it on your peg 1. That acts as your first wrap, okay? So then what would you would do is you would tie these 2 tails just like this. I didn't want to do that on the first row because I didn't want you to be confused with that first wrap and forget it and the next time around, okay? So now that we've added our loop onto there and we've tied it off, I'm going to work this. So that was the first step of the 3 steps, okay? So then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap 1, 2. See what I mean? Get that yarn tail out of the way here. 1, 2. And now I'm on the third one. And we're going to continue that patterning all the way around. Okay? And when we get all the way around one time, we're going to cut off and we're going to change colors one more time. I'll come back and do that together with you and then give you further instructions to finish the project. And then I'll set you free. All right, so I finished the single row. And how do I know I'm done? Because I'm 1 peg over from my first peg that I'm going to work next. So that, and that's how it's always ending up with our patterning, isn't it? Okay, so if I was to start over again, I would do 1 around here, and that's my first peg. So that's how I know that I have completed that round. We are going to take this yarn tail, we're going to cut it off. Okay, so this was color number 3. Remember that, because all of our single rows are going to be that same color. So this is color 1, color 2, color 3. I'm going to grab color 4, which is this one. Oh, these are such beautiful colors. So sad. I wish this wasn't, where's my tail end? There it is. This wasn't discontinued. If you can still get it wherever you're from, you're lucky. Okay, I'm going to put a slip knot on my new color. Okay, I'm going to take it and put it on my first peg. And again, I have 2 options. I can tie this in a tight knot. Well, I'm going to tie it in a tight knot anyways. So I'm going to tie it in a tight knot. Just like that. I'm going to cut it off. Now I can work that as peg 1, or I can take it off and do it how I normally would do it. So a U-wrap. Either way works. So that's step 1. Then I'm going to wrap 2. Step 2. Done. And now 3. Love this color. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll continue our patterning again as we've been doing all along. Okay? And we're going to do 2 rows of this color. And when we're done 2 rows of color So this is color number 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and this is color number 4. We'll do 2 rows of color number 4. Then we'll do 1 row of color number 3. Then we're going to do 2 rows of color number 5, 2 rows of this color, and then 1 row of color number 3, and we will be done. Okay, and then I'll see you back at the end and we will cast off together. So I am going to now do 2 rows of this color. Then I'm going to do, so this is my color 4. I'm going to do 2 rows of color 4. Then I'm going to do 1 row of color 3. Then I'm going to do 2 rows of color 5 and 1 row of color 3. And then I'll see you back. Okay, friends, enjoy the process. Have fun. We'll see you in a little while. Okay, friends, we made it to the end. Look how beautiful those colors are together. Like, aren't they just like, I love them so very much. Okay, we're going to take our tail, now that we've gone around, and you know you're at the end if your yarn tail is coming off of peg 2, okay? We're going to cut off a yarn tail that goes around our loom 1.5 times approximately, okay, just like that. And I'm going to, you can use your needle. I'll show you 2 ways to take it off. You can use your needle. Thread your needle with that end. We're going to go back to peg 1, and you can go underneath that loop just like that. I'm getting it all tangled. I went from the top to the bottom, but usually when I do the needle version, I go from the bottom to the top. So you can go this way. Oh, let's go this way because that's generally how I go. Okay, and you go from the bottom to the top, or the top to the bottom. Just follow the same way each time, okay? And you can take it off with your needle just like this. Okay, or you can use your loom pick. And you put it underneath, just like that. Scoop it up like you would a pearl. And pull it through. Okay, scoop it up and pull it through. Scoop it up and pull it through. Okay, and as it starts to get tight, you can take some of these off your pegs, but except for leave the first one that you did on, because I go back and I do that one last again. Okay, all right, so just scoop it up. Go ahead and use your loom pick like this, or use the needle, and go around your loom and take them all off like that, and I'll see you when you get to the end. I switched to my needle with this yarn because it was giving me some hassles and starting to split. So sometimes the needle is actually easier. Generally, I use my loom pick, but I think I might switch back to a needle because this is working much, much easier for me, okay? Especially with bulky yarn. Okay. So I'm going to continue around. Just thought I'd pop on and show you that I switched and that it's much easier for me. Okay, maybe it will be for you too. So if your yarn is starting to split and do funny things, switch to your needle. All right, so I made it all the way around and I went underneath peg 1 one more time. So I started under peg 1 and I ended under peg 1. That just joins it nicely. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove all the rest that I have not removed to this point, and then I'll see you back. Okay, so I have it off the machine and I'm going to give it a stretch, just a nice even stretch there, okay? And we can see that this is what it looks like. We're still going to cinch in the top, but I'm going to just show you what it's about 8 3/4 inches. Actually, it's there's the end. It's a full 9, but you know, once it stretches a little bit too, it's just 9 or a little bit better than 9, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, so we're going to, or you can make it a slouchy beanie and make it a lot longer too, but I want it to look more like the French Beret. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the inside. So turn it inside out. We're going to find all those tails. Now, sometimes you can carry the tails and hide them as you do your work, but because it's all loopy here, I didn't want to see the extra colors getting carried along, so I choose to do it after. Of course, you will have done it how you wanted to during the process of making the hat. But if you did it exactly like I do it, then at this point, we're going to thread our needle, and I just weave it down into some of these stitches. And I match the color, and I just go along. I don't even go very far, okay? I just take it a little ways in. Don't pull it too tight because you don't want to compromise the shape of your beanie. Okay. I have a hard time calling this a beanie actually because it's more like a beret. Am I saying that right to all my French friends out there? Is that how you say it, beret? And then I'm going to just go back one more time. I remember wearing these as a kid. Not necessarily one with that's crocheted like this, but berets were very popular when I was a kid, and that's like in the late 60s and 70s. Well, I was born mid-60s, so whenever I was old enough to wear them, and I'm going to go back, oops, wrong color, because I'm talking. Oh, well, I'm going to just pull it through like this, and then take it back. I don't want it to go in the wrong color. I want it to be fed through the right color, okay? Same color. But I remember wearing berets. I remember them being in style. And I know that they still are, and they're just like such a beautiful, beautiful shape. So I hope you enjoy this pattern. We're going to just go ahead and hide that one too. Okay? And then we're going to come back. I'm going to do this for every loose end. Don't make it too thick because you don't want to compromise the look of your stitches either, but just back and forth. Cut it off. And you do that for every one of your colors there, and I'll see you back when you're done. Okay, so now that we have them all hidden, we're going to make sure our beanie is the right side facing. And then we're going to go find our tail from our brim, okay? Now, if you have it so that it's facing you like it's facing me, and you roll up to the inside, you'll see all these little loops right here. Those are the ones we're going to work with, okay? And we're going to tighten them. Only thing is, if you pull on this, you'll see that it's coming from this direction, and it's coming around like this, okay? And this is how it's going. So we're going to start from this other end. So when you pull this up, go to the right of it and lift up on this little loop and just pull it to the left just slightly, okay? Then you're going to go to roll this up just a little bit, and you're going to go to the next one, and you're going to do the same thing. It's a little tricky at first, but you'll get it. And then you go to the very next one, and the same thing, okay? And then as you go around, you just automatically will see that loop. See, it's the very top loop that is the loosest at the top there, okay? And it's coming around and underneath and through here and around and underneath and through here. And so we go from the end to the beginning so that we can pull this tail later and get all the slack off there, okay? So then I'm going to just keep going around. This is fun, actually. I like doing this part. And you're just going to stick your finger in there if it helps you hold it. One of them might be tight and hiding in there, so don't let it get away. If you pull and it's not working, it's because one is hidden and it's getting a little bit tight, and then you're missing it, okay? And you just follow this all along, just like this, pulling it up just to make them nicer, even. I could even go a little bit tighter if I want to. I don't want to, but you can go a little bit tighter if you want to. And you just make that edge beautiful. Now, somebody in my Facebook group, just the other day actually, posted a video of how you can tighten this when it's actually on the loom. And I will tell you, I did not know that technique until she posted it. And next time I make something that needs to have the brim tightened like this, I'm going to try doing it on the loom as I start. After you cast on your first row and you do your first row, then you do it. You can look for that video on my channel or in my Facebook group. Just scroll through the videos and you'll find it, or through the posts, and you'll find it. And I'm going to try it sometime. Okay, but for now, I'm going to just continue around like this, and you'll see that this loop is getting longer and longer all the time. Not really long because I'm not making it too tight. I don't want it too tight. I just want it to have a nice finish along the edge. So I'm going to keep going until I get all the way around to this other side, and when I get there, I'll see you back. All right, so I'm coming around. I'm at the end. And I'm going to just continue to tighten that one. Then I'm going to take this one, and look at how that just beautifully tightens. Takes all the slack, and we went from a very short tail to quite a long tail and made our shape of our brim so much nicer, and the detailing around the outside. I just love it, okay? So we're going to then take you can put this back inside out because it's easier to hide the tails. I'm going to work on that top after we finish this. I like to do the brim before I finish the top there, okay? And we're going to put this back on our needle. I always get asked where these needles came from. They have a little plastic loop on the end like that, so they're easy to thread. They're a metal needle, and they're called a metal wool needle. You can get them in Walmart or Amazon. I'm not sure where else you can get them. I'm sure you can find them in many different places depending on what part of the world you're in. But they're called metal wool needles. So I'm going to give that a little tie, and one more. Okay, I'm going to hide this tail up into the inside of my brim. So I'm going to just flip that over momentarily. I'm going to just go around, because this is a single layer, I just go around the stitches just like that. Okay, pull it up so I don't compromise the looks of it. And then I'm going to just go into a couple of these stitches. There's no rhyme or reason for how I do this. I just try to get it nice and snug in there. Come down. I don't pull too tight. Again, I don't want to compromise the look of the stitches. And then I'm going to go back up just through two of them. Just like that. Cut it off. And our brim is completed. Okay, now we're going to turn it inside out. And we're going to complete the top. Isn't that just so pretty? Those colors are gorgeous together. We're going to take this tail and we're going to just pull on it. Now, as you pull on it, because this is bulky weight, you want to make sure that you smooth this out. I'm going to cut this off a little bit because it's way too long. That you smooth this out as you go, okay? Because you want a very nice finish at the top. Don't let it get all bunched up and bulky without smoothing that. Now, I had wrecked this yarn as I was taking it, as we were casting off. It started to split, and so I knew that I was going to have some trouble here, right in this section right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and if you have that trouble, don't panic. We'll fix it. You see how this all kind of unwound? That's what was happening when I was taking it through with my loom pick. And so I'm going to just put this onto my needle. I'm going to go around. I'm going to pick up, you can do this on the inside or the outside, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to pick up every stitch just like this. I'll finish it off on the inside, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up each one of those little stitches. Okay, this is where my problem was right there. Okay, so if that happens to you, it's an easy fix. Tucking that in, I'm going to go around, pick that up. Sometimes I'm really happy actually when these little glitches happen, because they happen to all of us. And if they happen on the camera, see, look at how easily that was. If they happen on the camera, then I'm able to show you how to fix it. Otherwise, you know, if it happened to you and it didn't happen to me, or it did happen to me and I edited it out, you would think you were doing something wrong, and you know, you wouldn't. Some people wouldn't know how to fix it if you're new, and it's an easy fix. You don't have to panic. So there we go. Now I've got it inside out. I'm going to go all around that row of stitches one more time. Just poking my needle in there and pulling. Okay. Smoothing that out so I can get under every stitch. Just like that. And pull it. So now essentially we've gone around twice. And that's all you need to do. And pull it. And there's just a little bit more here that I want to do. Okay. So now from there, I'm just going to pick up 2 strands, any two or three, whatever you grab. And we're going to knot it off. Okay, push that down with your thumbnail. Make one more knot. Then you go around and you hide your tail back underneath those stitches, okay? Just like that. I'll go a little farther. Pick up some stitches like that. And I'm not going to go back. There's no need to. This is not going to go anywhere. It's pretty tight, okay? And then I'm going to cut this off. Turn it the other way. Then I just poke my finger up into that, on the inside, I have my finger in there and I'm poking up as I smooth out that top. And you get a really nice little finish there, okay? And then there you have it. So our knot was, where is our knot? You can't even tell. Good, can't tell. where the back or the front is. But if you can see where it is, where your joins were, that's your back. But this one turned out really, really beautiful. Okay, there we go. I think this is where color changes were right there. So we're going to take a look. And there you have it, my friends. Isn't that beautiful? There's the other one that I've done. You can see this one. You can see me wearing this one in the Christmas video that I gave. When I made a Christmas video wishing you all Merry Christmas, go look for that one. I think it was December 23rd when I posted that one. You'll see what this looks like on. They're very, very beautiful. I love them. So there you have it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed making yourself one or making one for a gift. And yeah, and that you learned something new maybe on your loom. But regardless, thank you for spending the time with me. I really appreciate that. If you haven't already hit the like and subscribe, please go ahead and do that too. And make sure you come join my Facebook group and show me the ones that you make. I'd love to see them. I truly would. So I'll put the link down in the description box below, and maybe we'll see you over there. Take care, friends, and we'll see you in the next video.